Welcome to the JS Self-Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, a weekly conversation about self-care, personal development, and all the small decisions we can make to become the best possible versions of ourselves. I am your host, Janelle. I am a social worker and a self-care life coach based out of New York. For more information, make sure you visit my website at jsselfcare.org. First, before we begin, I want to welcome my new listeners, and I also want to welcome my returning listeners. If you can please share this episode, because there's someone in this world who needs to listen to this episode. I also want to personally thank you for making the JS Self-Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast part of your weekly routine. I truly, truly appreciate you. We will be discussing the 12 laws of karma. Get your pen and paper because you're going to love this episode. What is karma? Karma is getting back whatever it is you put forth, whether that is good or bad. Do you believe there is good karma and bad karma? I know I do. I've done some bad things in my life, and those things I've done came back. Well, should I say, they came back like a boomerang for sure. I've done some great things in my life as well, and those great things also came back like a boomerang. Do you know every action has a reaction, no matter what it is you do? And karma can help a person to change bad habits, or by understanding karma, we can also look at our behaviors and understand why we receive the luck we get. The 12 laws of karma are all about the positive or negative valances of our words, thoughts, and deeds. Karma is connected to ideas about accepting the truth about your reality. When you live in accordance with the 12 laws of karma, you will create good karma in your life. Theoretically, increasingly, the likelihood for good things to happen to you and for you. I know I want some good things to happen for me as well as you. So let's learn about the 12 laws of karma and how we can apply them to our daily lives. The first law is called the Great Law of Karma, aka the law of cause and effect. The Great Law is what comes to mind for many people when you consider what karma means. It basically means whatever thought or energy we put out, we get back, whether that's good or bad. If you plant seeds of love and kindness, you should grow seeds of love and kindness. If you plant seeds of hate and destruction, you will grow seeds of hate and destruction. This is the law most of us know. How many of you heard these sayings? You will reap what you sow. You will get whatever it is you put out there to the universe. What goes around comes around. Our thoughts and actions have consequences, whether they're good or bad. If we want peace, joy, love, we need to give out peace, joy, and love. If we desire honesty, relationships with others, we have to be candid, authentic, and honest. To get the things we want, we must also embody. If you long for happiness, act accordingly and be loving. And most importantly, live a life of happiness. That's the law of cause and effect. Now on to our second law. The second law of karma is the law of creation. The law of creation is all about what? You guessed it, creating. You don't just wait for good things to magically happen in your life. You have to actively go out there and make things happen. I want to share something with you. I was told if you want something, just pray about it and leave it in God's hand. Well, I tried that and I waited and waited, but guess what? Nothing happened. Then God came to me and said, "Honey dumpling, I see you are praying and waiting and waiting. That's not the God I am or the God you'd serve. I am a God that needs to see how bad you want things, because you, Janelle, have been given a lot and everything has been handed to you. I want you to work hard and I will help you, but I'm not going to do all the work for you. No, I'm not. Since me and God spoken, we now have an understanding, and that understanding is you can ask for something. You can also ask for direction, but I want you to put in the work. Yes, I got to do the work. So the following are the things you need to do with the law of creation. You must be an active participant in your life. What you desire comes through participation. Life does not happen by itself. You have to make it happen. To get the life you want, you have to actively create rather than just waiting for it to happen. You have to begin to take actions in small ways to achieve the life you want, and these actions will return magnified. The truth is that nothing happens without participation. We are creating at all times. It's important to realize that even if we do nothing, we did something. We did nothing, but it's something. Surround yourself with what you want so it is conducive for your desires. The second law of karma is the law of creation. Now let's go on to the third law. The third law of karma is the law of humility, acceptance. The goal of this law is basically to accept everything about you, the good, the bad, the ugly. And once you are able to accept you, that is when you are able to change those behaviors that are needed. We can't throw the whole person away. We have to correct the areas that are needed in order to make changes. In order to change something about yourself, you must accept something about yourself. This law is the first of the 12 steps for the Alcoholic Anonymous. My name is X and I'm an alcoholic. Self-acceptance. You can't change your trajectory unless you are willing to confront uncomfortable truths about your behavior. True joy cannot be experienced until there is acceptance of what prevents you from seeking true joy. Example, if you constantly blame others for things that you created, or you see anyone who disagrees with you as a villain, you're out of step with reality. You will therefore find it very difficult to make the shifts you need. Consistent self-reflection can help you make the most of the law of humility. To grow, we need to accept what is rather than arguing which should be. You can't change something if you refuse to accept it. Accept what is going on in your life, even if you don't like it. And with that, you'll be able to open the doors to changing it. In fact, change will be joyful and not painful. The third law of karma is the law of humility, acceptance. Now let's go to the fourth law. The fourth law of karma is the law of growth. Have you ever heard someone say, my future is looking like my present? Well, do you know what that saying means? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you what that saying means. If you are acting like Forrest Gump, doing the same thing every day and not growing and evolving, then you will stay in that same place that you are in right now, in this present moment. That's why your future looks the same. Stop waiting on others to help you grow and evolve, because it won't happen. You have to grow and evolve. This law promotes being active in adjudication of your life and by challenging yourself to grow. First, we have to change our hearts within. Then our lives will change too, and not the other way around. The first change is always the change of the heart. Then comes a change in mentality, and all of that finally manifests itself into our lives. Focus on your development, because trying to control or change others, you don't have that magical powers to change others. You only have the power to change you. Let others come to their own conclusion about what needs to be changed for them. You need to expect a change of yourself before you expect it of the world or others. Ultimately, you only have control over yourself. You need to expect a change of yourself before you expect it from the world. The world or your circle won't change unless you make the needed changes for self-growth. Ultimately, you only have control over yourself. Real change can only occur when we change who we are on the inside. The fourth law of karma is the law of growth. Now let's go on to the fifth law of karma. The fifth law of karma is the law of responsibility. Ooh, child, responsibility. The law of responsibility aims to teach you that you should be looking to take ownership of the good and the bad things you create rather than constantly looking outside yourself to find excuses. We mirror what is around us, and what is around us mirrors what and who we are. You can't expect things to change around you. Rather, you have to be the instrument of change. Mr. Gandhi's word. Being responsible means taking ownership of where you are, where you want to be, and what you will do to get there. We are responsible for what happens in our lives. We must accept responsibility for our actions. When something goes wrong, we should look at ourselves rather than try to blame others for our own shit. If we do not accept our responsibility, we are not fully conscious. We are effectively in the passenger seat of our life. And you don't want to be there. You want to be in that driver's seat. It's your life. Take responsibility. You are the source of what happens around you. The fifth law is the law of responsibility. Let's go on to that sixth law. The sixth law of karma is the law of connection. The first step and the last steps are the most memorable ones for sure, but hardly more significant than any of the others. Respect the journey. Respect the whole process of getting where you want to go. Think about things in your life that you wish to accomplish. Conquer the small tasks first so that other things may fall into place. You may find the universe opening up to your ambitions. The past, the present, and the future are all connected. We must put in the work to change these connections if we desire something different. The law of connections helps remove bad karma of past life experiences. The law of connections takes time to redress karmic wrongs from the past. However, each small step can have an unexpectedly powerful effect. The sixth law of karma is the law of connection. Now let's go on to that seventh law of karma. The seventh law of karma is law of focus. This is the law I needed to speak about because it is the law of focus. I tend to focus on many things instead of doing one thing at a time, which has me overthinking, thinking the worst, thinking, oh my God, this is the one thing for me, the law of focus. So I'm going to use this law. This law is going to upset all the multitaskers, all the people that do 8,000 things. One can only focus on one thing at a time. A divided mind is more susceptible to what? Negative thoughts. This is where mindfulness and meditation come in. It's a way to help you focus on one thing at a time, equipped to follow multiple trains of thoughts with equal competency. If you have several goals, try to follow them in a linear rank order rather than giving each goal only a fraction of your energy. I always say make a to-do list daily and only accomplish 3 things a day. If you can do more, do it. But just know that making a to-do list and just saying, I'm going to accomplish these 3 things today. When you focus on one thing at a time on your to-do list, that's why I say 3. 1 for the morning, 1 for the afternoon, and 1 for the evening. You'll be able to give that particular task or chore 100% of you. You're authentic you, and you won't be overthinking it. The 7th law of karma is the law of focus. Now let's go on to the 8th law of karma. The 8th law of karma is the law of giving and hospitality. Be nice, even when certain people deserve a curse out. As we all know, certain people should get it, but also know you need to protect your peace. Don't allow anyone to control your emotions. This is where you demonstrate the truth and find out exactly who you are. Our behavior should match our thoughts and actions. What we plan to believe must manifest into our actions. This law is about the way in which the universe will test you. Life gives us opportunities to put learned lessons into practice and showing you when you need to do further work on some aspect of your character. Give without expectation of receiving anything in return. You get as much as you give, not necessarily from the same person though. What you give to someone, the universe can give you back in so many ways. And it's best to allow the universe to fulfill your desires the way it sees fit. The eighth law of karma is the law of giving and hospitality. Let's go on to that ninth law of karma. The ninth law of karma is the law of here and now. This law discourages us from looking backwards. This law encourages us to exist and appreciate where we are at this very moment. If you cling too hard to the past feeling, experiences, and beliefs, you will always have one foot in the past. If you focus on anxiety or greed, you will always have one foot in the future. The law of here and now means reminding yourself that the present is all you really have and that the present is there to be fully engaged with and enjoyed. Looking backwards to examine what was or forward to worry about the future prevents us from being totally in the here and now. Let go of your past. I know it can be a burden, but obviously taking your mind back to replay the events will not help you after a certain point. It is important to remember that our brains do not remember the actual events. So each time they are a bit different. The future will be like, and what you want it to be like will hinder you from in creating that future today. Live in the moment. The future isn't promised and the past can't be changed. So what are you going to do now in this present moment? The ninth law of karma is the law of the here and now. Now let's move on to the 10th law of karma. The 10th law of karma is that law of change. History repeats itself until we take control of our lives and institute the changes we seek to make. History continually repeats itself until you demonstrate that you have learned what you need to learn in order to create a different future. If you notice that you seem to be stuck in a loop, this is because there's something fundamental that has not been addressed. If things are around you begin to change in a sudden, dramatic way, take this as a sign that you have recently taken significant steps in your growth. The 10th law of karma is the law of change. Now let's discuss that 11th law of karma. The 11th law of karma is the law of patience and reward. Husa moments, patient moments, till it's your turn moments. A person is encouraged to embrace the grind and enjoy the time working towards a goal with the knowledge that the goal will arrive, but it will arrive at the time and place of its choosing. Hard work always pays off. The most valuable rewards require persistence. True joy comes from the knowledge of doing what's necessary in the rightful anticipation of a reward that we actually earned. True joy comes from doing what we're supposed to be doing and knowing that the reward will come in its own time. If you expect immediate results, you will ultimately be disappointed. Your success will be a minor in comparison to what you're capable of achieving. Never look for immediate results. Trust the process and learn from the process. Look to figure out your true purpose. Act in accordance with that purpose and enjoy the reward of knowing you are doing what you are supposed to do with your current life. In time, associated success, emotional and material will follow. Just trust the process. Rewards may not come instantly, but we must not give up. Doing the work that is meaningful to us, that we love, it's its own reward. The 11th law of karma is the law of patience and rewards, usa moments, patient moments, wait till your turn moments. Now let's discuss the last law of karma. The 12th law of karma is law of significance and inspiration. You get what you put into something. The key is energy and loving contributions. Rewards are the results of the efforts and energy we put into it. The true value of something is a direct result of the energy and intent that is out and into it. If we think we are putting great energy into our work and it is not valued, it might be that we should find new work where the energy we put in will be received in a way that we intended it to be received. Do what you love and your great energy will be valued. Be mindful of where you are and where you want to be. Just remember these 12 laws of karma. Apply them to where you need to apply them in your life, because you are only one change agent, and that's the change agent for you. You can't change others. Others have to want to change. While I hope you love listening to and learning from this podcast, it is not meant to be a substitute for mental health treatment. For those of you who are ready to get started by talking to a self-care life coach who can answer all of your questions about self-care, I want you to schedule a free consultation at jsselfcare.org. If mental health treatment is needed, please don't hesitate to contact a therapist in your area. Self-care is important and necessary. Take care of you and continue to put you first no matter what. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and share. For daily doses of self-care affirmations and notes to self, make sure you join the JS Self-Care social media tribe on most social media platforms. Just Google JS Self-Care. Social media links will be placed in this episode notes. I hope you enjoyed it.